Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you can hear me? There might be a delay here. Well, the wife is Filipino, so naturally we're late. Oh, well, I can hear me. Fantastic. Okay, so as far as the format of this goes, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet, seeing as this is my first live stream. So I'm going to be all over the place. There's probably going to be lots of pauses and lots of breaks because I don't really know what I'm going to be talking about yet. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to throw them up in the chat, and I will deviate and follow up with them. But as of now, we can start off with what's going on today in Parliament. So today we had House sitting number 97 of the 45th Parliament. So let's go over a summary of what occurred. If you want any sources or anything like that, let me know and I'll switch over and you can read along or whatever. Just let me know. Why so I look like that? Zach, stop trolling. If you're going to troll, just get off the chat. All right. No, that's my hat. All right. I guess I should have been a little bit more clear about the topics that I'd like to cover in terms of questions. Tell us about yourself. I'm just a guy. I'm a Canadian guy who likes politics, as anyone who knows me knows. So some people think I'm a little bit outlandish with my political beliefs. Others think I'm right in line with what they believe, which tends to be the case with everyone. But this is just something that a lot of people have told me I should do. So I feel like I'm going to do it. Whether it's crappy or not, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for the response, Cat Allard 26. And no, Paul, this is not your hat. This is my hat. But it is the one that you gave me. And you already knew that. Okay, so where was I? Okay, 97th Parliament. They covered a lot today. Began with the Speaker of the House submitting the 2026 report of the Auditor General before the House. They were deemed permanently referred to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, which basically means that it's just submitted officially to the record. Well, on the chat, you're Paul. I guess I could call you Dad. For anyone who doesn't know me, because most of the people watching right now know me personally, Paul Sidley is my father, and he will be joining me in future live streams, which I think will be a lot more natural in their flow because he'll be able to kind of help drive the conversation. It's a little bit awkward when you're by yourself in a live stream. This isn't a typical podcast format where I'm recording and able to edit as I go along. So you'll see all my mistakes, all my errors, and all my ums and ahs. All right. Back to the House sitting number 97. Okay, so yesterday, the Auditor General released a series of reports on the Canadian government. Those were very, very interesting. There's lots of talk about that right now in the political landscape. There was a report on the RCMP. There was a report on immigration. And then there was a third report, which, let me just find that right here. Oop. Where are we? Just Auditor General. Here, let's go here. Oh, apparently I have no internet. Sorry for the delay. Okay, the RCMP and the news release on that says failed to recruit enough police officers to meet operational needs. That's the title of the report. It is probably 50 to 60 pages long. I advise anyone go and read it. I can provide the links if you guys want. Second report was on the risks before launching the government's new pay system. So in 2016, I believe, they released a new pay system that they're now switching over again before 2036, because I guess this one's going to be obsolete. So they implemented a new pay system and are now again implementing a new pay system. And so I guess the auditor is addressing the risks of the previous pay system and the new pay system. Lots of interesting stuff in there. Let me know if you guys want to talk about that. The third and final release that was presented yesterday was the International Student Program. Reforms controlled growth, fell short on improving integrity. That one, there's a lot of people who are going to find very interesting. That one has a lot of statistics and data that some people will be very shocked by, others not so much. Okay, so that's how Parliament started yesterday. I can't release the info on Parliament today because the debates haven't finished yet. They go until, actually they might have just finished now, but I don't have time to prep. So if this becomes a daily podcast, I'll be doing the previous day's parliamentary updates. What's a pay system? It's the system that they use to pay any government employee. So like at your work, whoever's in charge of payroll utilizes a system, a fiscal system, to actually pay you. So some people use QuickBooks, things like that. So that's not what they use in the government. But so they had an old pay system up until 2016. They transferred to a new pay system. Let me just jump in here. I'll actually jump into the link and then I will show you. Here we go. Let me switch over here, and this is top. See, this is the stuff that I'm going to need practice with, is switching over. Let's see, does this work? Yeah, that works pretty well, I think. Okay. Let me know if you can see the PDF. When it pops up, I'll wait for you guys to put a 1 in the chat if you can see the PDF. There's a little bit of a lag, so. All right, thank you, Kat. I do need a Jamie. Yes, that's something that we're gonna have to work on. Having a second person, like I said, would help, and maybe I can get one of my brothers to help me produce this thing so I can just focus on talking. But regardless, this is gonna be hit and miss on this kind of stuff to start, because this is all new to me. A live stream is a lot more complicated than a podcast, let me tell you. Camp Juno, whoever that is, thanks for joining, and thanks for letting me know that you can see this. Polyworld Flies, you can help me with that in the future. You can be my my producer and help me with the streaming stuff, because I feel like you're probably more familiar than I am. Okay, so I was right. 2016, the Government of Canada changed how it processed pay for public servants by introducing the Phoenix pay system. So that's what they used to use. Or no, is that what they now use? Changed how it processed? Yeah, that's what they started using in 2016. Centralizing pay services for most federal employees. Let me know if you don't want me to read or if you do want me to read. You want to read it yourself, just let me know. But you want me to... yeah, because you're blind. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'll just read it out just because everyone's probably reading at a different pace. So, however, once the change happened, employees began experiencing significant pay issues, including delays in pay, as well as being underpaid, overpaid, or not paid at all. The federal government is now working to replace Phoenix, only 10 years later, with a new system, Dayforce, in a project led by the Treasury Board of Canada's Secretariat and Public Services and Procurement Canada. The Secretariat and the department were still in the planning phase of Human Resources and Pay Transformation Project at the end of the audit, and are not expected to complete that phase until June of 2027. Anyways, let's skip on down to here a little bit. Let's see, there's some numbers here. This should be important. Public Services and Procurement Canada had made limited progress in eliminating the substantial backlog of pay transactions. As of September 30th, 2025, The total backlog for departments and agencies serviced by the Public Service Pay Center stood at over 233,000 pay transactions, impacting over 133,000 employees. This is very important because if the backlog is not cleared before the transition to Dayforce, there is a risk that existing errors will carry over and undermine the effectiveness of the new system. All right. Do we have any other questions about that? I think that outlines what's going on here. So they're transferring to a new system. There's been a lot of issues with the previous system that they jumped to in 2016. And if they don't fix those issues prior to moving on to Dayforce, that'll cause a lot of future issues. Shocker. Okay, just let me know if you're all done there. If you have any other questions, you want me to keep going on this. If you're bored with this, you want to keep going on the 97th sitting. We can talk about other topics that they jumped on. That was literally just a briefing that the Speaker of the House went over, just basically saying, yeah, we heard the reports, we acknowledged them, and now they're officially in account. Any comments, questions, concerns? Oh, look at that. We have a previous government employee, Kat Allard. Thank you for that. I might need my glasses because this screen's very far from me. Actually, I'm going to move it closer. Just hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay. She worked for a few years and experienced this firsthand. There were paychecks that she had that were less than $1,000 because they overpaid or something. Okay. There's a anecdotal piece of information for you. Thank you very much, Kat Allard. Throw a like in the chat for Kat. No, they're changing it. It sounds like they're actually changing it next year. I read somewhere in the report something about 2036. I can't remember where that was. Oh, right here. Vendor support for the Phoenix pay system could end as early as 2036. Okay, so they're switching, I think, in 2027 because Phoenix is no longer going to be providing support for their pay system. So it's basically becoming obsolete. So they have no choice but to switch over. Public service is going to plan to replace. Oh, okay. So it's by 2034. So 8 years from now. Shorten the project schedule by 3 years. Okay. I'm not sure what they mean by that. After our period under audit. Okay. So maybe they're saying that it'll actually happen by 2031. I'm not sure. They're not too clear here. Canada's preliminary estimate for the new human resources and pay system will cost. Oh, here's a fun one. This will cost more than $4.2 billion to implement the new system. That's fantastic. So this system has lasted 10 years. You want a link for it? Okay, yeah. No problem. Thanks for joining the chat, Cynthia Reed. I appreciate it. And CS Pejul. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so they will be changing. Sorry, Dad. They'll be changing in 2034 or possibly 2031. I will get that link for you, Cynthia. But the cost will be around $4.2 billion. Still determining how to measure cost savings. Sounds like everyone's pretty interested in this topic, so we have time to get the full details. Move on. Ouch. All right. Oh, Megan, thanks for joining. All right, well, if everyone wants to move on to something else, feel free. This could go on all night, so if you're getting bored, let me know. Paul wants to move on. Does anyone else want to move on? Here, I don't know how I'm going to actually, you know what I'm going to do is I might actually make a website and put all the links on the website, so you guys, and then put a link on the description to my website, and then you guys can pull from that. Because I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to actually link everything on. I don't think I can on the chat. I'll try right now, but I don't think I can. No, I can't. Or, I don't know, click on the link, see if that works. One's in the chat if that works. Okay, back to the parliamentary sitting. Okay, so Speaker of the House spoke on the auditory reports. Do we want to go on to the okay. Thanks, Dad. Thank you very much. Do we want to talk about the international student program reforms? Controlled growth fell short on improving integrity. because we could talk about that. I think you'd find that one more interesting, Father. This is about the immigrants that are coming in through the student program, international student program. Oh, you don't want to talk about that. I think there's some things you might find pretty interesting on that. Oh, no, you don't want to talk about that? Well, if you're bored with politics, you can feel free to, watch the Jets game or something. Oh, thank you. If you're responding with, see, there's a bit of a delay, Dad, so I'm not sure what you're saying nope or yes to. So try and make it a little bit more clear as to what you're referring to when you respond. Because it sounded like you were saying nope to me checking out the International Student Program reforms. But if not, now I'm confused. Anyone else? Megan, Cynthia, CS Pajul, whoever you guys are. Oh, nope for some. Oh, okay. So you want to keep going on that? Okay, yeah, we can do that. I'll pull that back up then. Oh, yes to students. Okay, yeah, we'll jump to that then. Yeah, that one's pretty interesting. So I want to open this in a new tab. Sorry for the delay as I go through all this, guys. Here, let's. Okay, so we will be on top, ATM bottom left. Here we are again. Actually, I'm going to move this to bottom right. There we go. All right, so this one, Cynthia, you can see here, this is, yeah, you should be there, Dad. It would be a lot of fun if you were here with me. The site here, the link here this is the Government of Canada website, specifically the Office of the Auditor General of Canada. So every year they release a report on the audits that they partook in, and almost always falls on government departments and auditing spending, legal integrity, stuff like that. So they released, Megan, I don't know if you're here earlier, but they released 3 reports yesterday. So one was on the RCMP, failures of the RCMP to recruit enough police officers to meet operational needs. Second one we had already just talked about with the new pay system. And the third one was on international student program. That one is what we're looking at right now. So we'll dive into here. I'll zoom in so Paul can see. And no. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to go to is, I was looking at this yesterday. So there's a bar graph down here. And I apologize again for how long it takes for me to find stuff. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so I'm not as organized as I'd like to be. Exhibit number 9 was a particularly interesting one. Keep those comments coming, everyone. I need feedback. Exhibit number 9, where are we? Aha, here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, exhibit number 9 is a bar graph, or a chart. It shows a significant number of new study permits were for Indian nationals approved under the student direct stream. So there's the can't recruit because people weren't, because yes, that's true. Yeah, you can't recruit because people want to get paid. That's true. There's certain people they can recruit because they do want to get paid. I will not say who. Okay, so significant number of new study permits were for Indian nationals approved under the student direct stream. So the student direct stream was an initiative to kind of streamline international students. Thanks, Kat. I keep getting distracted by the chat. Something else I'll have to work on. Okay, so a significant number of new study permits were for Indian nationals approved. Okay, student direct stream. That's where I was. So it was a initiative within the international student program that kind of made it more efficient for people to get approved into becoming students within Canada. And what this graph is looking at is the number of people who were approved and what country they're from. And as you can see, in the year 2022, 96% of the students that were approved under the student direct stream were from India. and that number is just under 150,000. And this is just one immigration program, by the way. This is just international students. As you can see here, there's the committee that this is based out of, the Department of Canada that this is from, is the Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. So international student programming falls under that department. So this is just a tiny segment within a segment within a segment under the Department of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. So 2022, 96% of all international students under the student direct stream were from India. And then you can see here there's the non-student direct stream applications. So that's all international, the international student program applications that came through outside of the direct stream. But the ones that were approved through the stream, 96%. 2023, 232,764. That is the total number, including those that were not from India, but 96% of that number were Indian. And then the number of approved students dropped dramatically in 2024, but it's still 87% of the total. We can actually see the numbers if we go down to the bottom here. They have, here we go, Exhibit 9. So they show the actual report here. Okay, no problem, Cynthia. I will get you those sources. I know your digits, so I will send those to you directly. Okay, looking here at Exhibit number 9 again. Significant number of new students or new study permits were for Indian nationals approved under the student direct stream. This bar chart shows the number of applicants from Indian nationals and from all other countries under the student direct stream, as well as non-student direct stream applications. It shows that a significant number of approved applications were from the Indian nationals category. Of the 152,706 applications that were approved in 2022, 96 were from Indian nationals under the student direct stream, the rest being approved applicants from all other countries under the direct stream. I love how they say the rest approved from all other countries. So what they're saying here is that you have one country accounting for 96% of students who were brought in under the student direct stream, and then the other 4% was from every other country on the planet. So that's pretty wild. Same thing in 2023, the exact same number. So 96% were from Indian nationals. And then in 2024, that number improved slightly to 87. I think that is because of public scrutiny. It became quite common, regardless of your political affiliation, to protest this kind of thing, as everyone is fully aware. If you guys would like, we could keep on this, look deeper into this report. One's in the chat if you want to keep looking at this, or let me know if you want to move on to something else. Also, if you guys have any questions regarding anything political, we can do the research together. If there's anything you want to know that I don't know, we can research together. If there's anything you want to know that I happen to know, I can try and help you out with that. Otherwise, we can move on to something else, or we can keep going on this. I need a little bit of feedback here, ladies and gentlemen. Some ones in the chat, twos in the chat. Oh, what do we say here? Paul Sidley, maybe when the pay system gets up and running, they'll be able to hire more RCMP. Potentially. We'll find out, I guess, by 2034. Anyone here? People still listening? People still watching? That leg's killing me. I guess Julian, I'm going to need your help on fixing that leg. Well, I'm sure there's some people that are going to blame it on the bad orange man, but the job of the Auditor General is to literally go through all the data that's provided by the government of Canada. So this isn't some random news source. This is from within the government. Their job is specifically to hold the government of Canada accountable to their actions and political decisions. I don't know if I have that data. Thanks for the request, Jordan. Let's take a look. So this is, just keep in mind, this isn't total international student program applicants. This is specifically for the direct stream program. I explained that earlier. So I know you're behind, Cynthia, but I'll look and see if I can find more info on the total number of applicants. But I think that's what that covered. Is that not what that covered? Or is that accepted applicants? Oh, so I'm guessing, what's the gray showing? Why is the gray showing? I already explained that. I'll go back to that. Okay. Is this it here? Yeah, this is here. I already explained that. So it says non-student direct stream applications. That's what that is. Why is the gray showing? What's the gray showing? Okay, yeah. So, oh, non-student direct stream. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Let's look into that. That's a good question, because this might be the total applicants on the right. I may have got that wrong. Perhaps this is the total applicants for the program, and this is the number of people who were approved. So out of 184,000 applicants, there was 152,000 approved. No, but that doesn't make sense because this number is less than this number. So no, that can't be it. So I'm thinking this is, I think I was right about that. This is the total outside of this, the direct student. This is the international student program. Here's what we can do. Direct stream. Okay. Student direct stream. Applicants processed under the student direct stream were subject to a light touch eligibility review by processing officers. We found that in the case of applicants from India, this did not match the high risk profile assigned to the country by the risk assessment units. In 2022, the department identified integrity risks in the student direct stream, and by August 2023 flagged that the stream was being targeted by non-genuine students seeking entry to Canada. I think we were all aware of that already. However, we found that the department did not take steps to address this. For example, by issuing officer guidance to increase scrutiny when processing these applications during this time, approval rates for applications from Indian nationals processed through the student direct stream rose from 61% in 2022 to 98% in 2024. Okay, let's see if we can find some other... slow respond to integrity concerns within the... Okay, we already touched on that. Yeah, applicants processed under the student direct stream were subject to a light touch. Yeah, we just read that. Okay, again, I'm sorry for being all over the place here. First time doing this. Okay, the student direct stream was canceled in 2024. While this addressed the integrity risks for new student permit applications, the disproportionately high approval rates for these permits sustained over several years created new risks for study permit extensions. That's good to know. We already read this. All right. So these three reports identified a total of 800 approved study permits issued between 2018 and 2023, in which applicants had either used fraudulent documentation or misrepresented information on their applications to gain entry to Canada. For example, in providing evidence of their previous educational experience, 710 applicants claimed to have attended educational institutions overseas that risk assessment units later found to be either non-existent or institutions selling qualifications for immigration purposes. I have read about this in the past. There was a recent report that came out, I'll try and find it, where there was 100,000 was it students or institutions in India that were found to be fraudulent, which were made specifically, they were fake institutions that were made specifically to help immigrants get into the country by going through our student programs. So they created fake universities, fake colleges, and other institutions like that, and they gave out diplomas and degrees for money in exchange for getting into Canada through these programs. Let me see if I can find it. Just hold with me here. Feel free to enter something in the chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Any comments, questions, concerns. I'm going to mute my mic for a sec. All right, I'm back. Anyone still there? Or is everyone already bored and gone? Let me know. Give me some feedback in the chat, ladies and gents. Says I got 9 viewers. Okay, Paul's still here. Thanks, Dad. I think Kat's currently typing. Yeah, she's still here. All right, we want to go through with the 100,000. All right, so here we go. Let's jump into here. ATM top. We'll make the top first. Oh no, let's. Nope, that doesn't work. There we go. That's probably better. Okay, so this claims to have this from AF Post. Now, anytime I go to X, I don't know the validity of these sources, but we can scroll through and see what we find in terms of reports on this. Yeah, I think it's about 30 seconds. Yeah, Julian's going to help you with that in the future. I think there is a way to decrease the delay. I think it just brings down the quality of the stream. Cynthia, can you confirm what the question that Jordan has is? Just rephrase it for me so I understand what the question is. I don't know if that information is in the report. Like, is he talking about the total number of applicants from all student programs that are from India in comparison to other countries, or just for the direct stream? Let me know when you catch up. In the meantime, we were talking about the racketeering fraud case that I was speaking to earlier, that I said that I'd read something about. So on X, let's take a look here. So I guess in India, Kerala, police busted a fake decree racket. Now this is one of apparently many, seizing 100,000 forged certificates from 22 universities. Estimates suggest over 1 million were issued and used to secure jobs abroad. This isn't specifically for Canada. If this is true, this wouldn't be specifically for Canada because there's a lot of emigration in India, and people are going all over the world, not just Canada. However, Canada is a hotspot for sure. I guess there's an actual video. Let me know if you guys want to watch the video. And you know what? Screw it. We'll just throw in the video. Let me know if it's too loud. Certainly too loud for me. Okay, that video was kind of boring. Just showed a bunch of police officers showing off their certification. But as you can see, this seems to be legit. There's video of the police officers going through the different diplomas. As you can see, there's a heck of a lot of them. Several news sources from all sorts of different people. If you want me to look further into that, I can try and find what some would deem to be legitimate sources for that, because I know some people don't like X. But in the meantime, let me try and find the answer to Paul's question. Let's go back here. And okay, so okay, so we have 2 questions now. Okay, so Paul wants the stats on all immigration students from all countries, period. Okay, I'll try and find that for you. Okay, so my face is blocking the screen. I explained what the video was. That video was just officers showcasing their discovery of the diploma mills. If I'm going too fast, let me know and I'll try and slow down. I thought I was going too slow, but okay. So we don't care about what program it's under, not just direct stream. Okay, so let's type in applicants. Okay, blah, blah, blah. For applicants from 10,000 to approximately. Okay. We might be able to go to Stats Canada to get that answer, so maybe we'll do that if we can't find it here. Fraudulent applicants undermine the integrity of the international student program and have an impact on broader immigration system. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what we were getting at earlier. Yeah, the video of my face, yeah. No, I understand. I'll move that out of the way in the future. I can just show the whole screen and take my face out of it. But aren't I so pretty? Don't you want to look at my face? This is how I do research, by the way. Oh, I'm not showing you the page. Where are we? Top 18. There we go. There you go. Now you can see. This is how I do research. For anyone that accuses me of just going on X and, you know, listening to bullshit, this is what I do. I have, I'll actually show you something. This is my cheat sheet that I start with whenever I'm doing research on politics, because I am that autistic. Where are we? This is my cheat sheet. These are the sources that I start with. And it's constantly growing all the time. Alright, back to this. Okay. Cat keeps laughing. For those who don't know me, if there are any people that I don't know on this chat, Cat is my fiancée, future wife. And she is tuning in to my first ever live stream. Oh, here we go. This looks interesting. As you can see, these reports are very, very long. There's 45 pages of this. We could just read through the whole thing, or I can try and find what you guys are looking for. But I might have to go to Stats Canada, because I'm sure they have some sort of information on that. You know what? Let's try that. Just be patient with me as I look through here. Yeah, no, Dad, you're doing a lot of talking. Let's see what you're saying here. The application stats. Yeah, we're going to go through that. How many applied? How many applied? From where, and how many were accepted and from where? Yeah, X marks the spot. What are you referring to when you say X marks the spot? Did you find something interesting that I missed? Let me know. Try not to be so vague, because that'll help me out in terms of my research. I have no idea how many people are. I think you could be the only one watching still. Oh no, you got 8 concurrent viewers, so that's Cat, you, and 6 other people. So people are still watching. Thanks for watching, guys. Like I said at the beginning of this, I don't know if you guys watched from the beginning, but I'm going to be all over the place today because this is my first time doing this, and I don't really have a format. I wanted to do it so that I am live streaming with you guys, and you guys could provide feedback, ask me questions, raise comments, and even debate with me if you want to. Although I think with that, I'm going to introduce like an actual call-in format where we could actually have discussions rather than me, going back and forth with the chat. But we'll see how that goes. All right, so you want to know many students applied National Student Program. Oh, I see. Funny joke. Oh, Ethan, you're watching. Thanks for joining, buddy. Good to have you here. If you have any questions, just let me know. Any comments? Anything you want me to touch on? Okay. How many students applied through the International Student Program? The years 24. Please provide info for each year, and if available. Sorry again for the delay here and the time I'm taking to look this stuff up. Acceptance to all right. Also, if there's anything that anyone feels that I could improve on, please let me know. Don't be afraid to be constructive in your criticism, because I need to hear it. I need to know what I suck at, what I need to improve at, and if that's everything, just let me know. But please provide some constructive criticism as well. You guys are very quiet in there. We need some likes in the chat. We need some comments in the chat. We need likers and subscribers and all the fun stuff. You know, all you got to do is this. See? Look at that little heart raising up there. Anyone? I'm starting to feel lonely out here. Dad, I can't wait till you're back because I need you to jump on here with me and we'll do this together. It'll be a lot more fun. Oh, well, we got some likes there. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the sources to pull up. Application, blah, 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 blah. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, did you do some research yourself, Dad? You grokked it, didn't you? All right, what do we have here? Okay. Okay, I found something. Let's switch back to this. Switch to here. And then, boom. Let me know if you can see that. Okay. Do you want me to make myself smaller? I can just remove myself. There we go. No more pretty face. Yeah, you have grok there. I have the actual thing here, Dad. This is from Government of Canada's website. This is from the same department that was being audited. So this is their actual website here, and this is their information. So this is by year. So let's take a look. Out of 713 total applicants across the entire program, looks like 318. Is this applied? Yeah, this is just applied. And number of student permit applications issued. So I'm assuming, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. Applications approved, refused. Okay, so this is, okay, so these are applied. I wonder what the difference between the top one and the bottom was. Am I missing something? Number of study permit applications, excluding extensions, received by IRCC. Okay. And top 10 countries in persons. Okay, number of study applications issued. So what's the difference between these? Because this one just says issued after the fact. I'm not sure. I'm assuming these are the ones that they just received. Maybe they weren't all processed. No, it looks like you're right, Dad. Looks like Grok got it right. So 2022, 318,000 applicants from India. 2023, 325. And 2024 until January 31st. Oh, so I guess the cutoff is February 28th. So that's only a month and a half. So 2,000 in the first month and a half. So as you can see, quite a big leap. It looks like in 2022 there was, 300,000 to 30,000. So 10 times the population over the next largest, which was Nigeria. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, Cynthia, how many were applied and how many were given out. So right now we're just looking at the applications and the countries of origin. So 318,000 in 2022, Nigeria followed by Philippines. China had 27,000. Nepal quite a bit. Algeria. These are the top 10 countries. So they're not showing every country, but they're showing the top 10 countries because I'm assuming a lot of the countries are, negligible in terms of number. And then 2023, that number increased. And then 2024, they only show the first couple months for some reason. I'm not sure what the difference is. If anyone can tell me. Yeah. Good point, Dad. Okay. Approved with refused and withdrawn. Okay, Cynthia, this is what you're looking for. The number that were approved. Okay, so in 2022, out of, what was it again? Oh, because it has the total. Okay, yeah, 356. Out of 356,000, 189,000 were approved. 164,000 were refused, and 2,482 were withdrawn. I find this very interesting because, they got rid of the direct stream program. I touched on that earlier, so that was one percentage. They didn't put a hold. If you look up top, it says this is up until January 31st. So there's always a delay in government reporting. It's very hard to find recent information when it comes to official reports from the government. It's always either a year or two behind because the government is very slow with everything. So a lot of the stuff that you hear about in terms of 25, 26, in terms of reports, a lot of it is speculation or estimates. The actual numbers don't come out until a year or two after they occurred. So that's a good question. You'll find that with most things, whether it's statistics on crime, immigration, on economy, all that stuff. A lot of it is either estimated, which Jordan and I were talking the other day, and he was talking about how there was projections and stuff like that in terms of Canada's economy. A lot of that stuff is estimates. You won't get the actual numbers until a year or two later. Anyways, back to the approved number of study permit applications approved. So approval rate was 54% for India. Highest approval rate was 78% for China. I don't find that very surprising, to be honest. The Chinese, they have very good education system. Let's see what else. 66% for Nepal, 54%, but total of 189 approved in 2022 out of 356. 218,764 approved out of 300,000 in 2023. And then, like I said, this is the first month in 2024. 14,000 approved out of 18,000. And then the grand total here is 600. I'm assuming this grand total is for the total number of applicants in that 2.5 year time period. Do you want me to say it like that? All right. Let's see. Where are we? Where's China? Well, it's not the People's Republic of China. It's China. China. Is that better? Okay. So there you go. Does that answer your question, Cynthia and Jordan? Does that help solve things for you? I mean, this provides a little more insight, so thank you for the question. To be honest, I'm not really trying to prove a point or anything here. I'm just going over what the Auditor General went over, and so this provides more insight into their report. But I mean, there's no opinion given here. I'm just showing the data. Okay, my face is back. Hello, everybody. All right, do we want to keep on that, or do we want to move on to something else? Is everyone getting bored? How long has this stream been running for? What have we been doing? Oh, you see Cat running behind me? Yeah, I don't have all the data. Maybe Julian can help me with that, but I don't know how long this stream's been running for or anything. So if people are getting bored and they want me to stop for today, I can. If you want me to touch on something else, I can go over some of the scrums that happened with some of our parliamentarians. They were quite interesting. Some fun stuff, some accusations thrown out between liberals and conservatives. Gun buyback program had a lot of information that was released today. Some interesting information. If you guys want to go over that, let me know. Let me know what you're thinking in here. I need feedback to know where you guys want me to go, because there's a lot of stuff to touch on. I guess one thing we can talk about really briefly is that there was a tragic crash yesterday that I'm sure most of you are aware of. Dakama moans. I always thought you said baby. I didn't realize you said maybe. Dad, you're number 2 in the chat in terms of I don't know what that means. You have a number 2 crown. Maybe if Julian's still watching. Oh, there's only 4 viewers now. So I guess everyone got bored and decided to leave. So we can always end this if everyone. You want to talk about? Okay, we can go over the bum buyback program. We need to buy back those butts. Okay, so very interesting. So let me find it here. Yesterday, this was tabled at the House of Commons. Yeah, I know you're the only one chatting. Thank you very much for chatting, Dad. Kat's watching. She keeps giggling in the background here, but and Cynthia's chatting quite a bit. She seems involved. Thank you for watching, Cynthia. I think the boys have probably all left. I don't know if Megan's still watching. Ethan may have left by now because he probably got bored, but if you guys are still there, thank you for watching. Okay. We're going to find the gun buyback program. A lot of interesting stuff there. Where's my source sheet? Did I delete my source sheet? Like I said, there's going to be pauses. Oh, you're still here, Megan. Thanks for watching. Okay. Let's go to CPAC videos. This one is so funny to watch. So basically what happened is the public safety minister, whose name I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce. I've never known how to pronounce it. The guy's from Bangladesh. He's in charge of public safety. He's the one that's running the gun buyback program. Oh, I didn't know Gabe would be interested. I'll send him a link next time. But he can watch on your phone. Sorry, Gabe. The Supreme Court is going to hear what, Dad? But anyway, so he's in charge of it. They've been running this program, as everyone is very aware. Many police forces around the country have refused to partake. But they just released the numbers the other day on how many people have actually sent in their guns. They started off making it seem like it was strong numbers by saying that bill, I'll have to look it up because I don't want to give you the wrong info. There was a bill released here. Let me just find it for you. We're going to go to, and you know what I'll do is I'll put this on the main page so you can see how I look for this stuff. Okay, face is gone. There you go. Seek sword buyback program. This is why I want you on the podcast. Because it'll be a lot more funny and a lot less dry. Oh man, that's funny. I'm going to put myself on the bottom right so you can see me laughing. Because that was a good joke. Okay, so what I want is this. All bills alleged. So this is how I research stuff, by the way. I'm pretty familiar with these sites. So what is the bill? What bill number? It's not a Senate bill. It's a House of Commons bill. And I don't even know if it was released. Oh, well, let's rock it. Bear with me for a second. Which bill does the Canadian gun buyback? Oh, that's the Walmart order. Bill C-21, that's the one. Okay, and that's from a while ago. Received royal assent in 2023. So that'll be 44th Parliament. Cynthia, I can get you the link to this if you want. Text to the bill. It would take very, very long to read all of this. This is basically the bill. So the way a lot of bills work in Canada, for people who want to know, the way a lot of bills work is every session of Parliament runs from the start of when the Prime Minister is elected until the next, I don't know if it's the next election or if it's until they leave in the summer and then it starts again. I'm trying to get you a brief summary. I'm trying to explain it to you. You know I don't do things quickly. Basically, in the previous Parliament, they created a bill which was an act to amend certain acts and make certain consequential amendments to the Firearms Act. And that was to remove what were previously legal guns from ownership. Like people who owned previously legal guns were no longer legally allowed to own them. So let's say you owned I don't know, I'm just going to throw out AR-15. I'm not saying the AR-15 was legal. I think it was actually, though. Let's say you owned an AR-15 and it was legally purchased and licensed and all that kind of stuff. They created a registry and a list of guns that are no longer legal, and they were offering what was called a buyback program to return those guns. So you could get paid to return the guns legally to the government without fear of prosecution. You have until October 31st, I believe. Don't quote me on that date, but you have until October 31st as of this year to return them before you will lose your PAL, your license, if you don't return them and you're found to have them. The police will have warrants to go into your home and take the guns from you if you're found to have them, and the police will be forced to partake in the program. The deadline to do it, to be a part of the buyback program, so the government paying you for those guns, is March 31st of this year, so this week. So they have until this week. So this buyback program started a long time ago. And so this is what I was talking about earlier. Sorry. So I'll continue on where I was. So they released the numbers for the buyback program. They initially called it a great success, saying that they got a ton of a ton of respondents, people who said that they were going to return their guns and stuff like that. And then they showed the numbers, and it was actually 51,000 total guns were submitted for the buyback program. But then they released the secondary numbers, and I can't remember exactly what it was. We can watch the video together, but I believe it was around 1 million estimated guns that are in Canada. We can talk about that another time, Dad. I disagree, but we can talk about that another time. AR-15 is no different than an SKS, to be honest. But anyways, another time. So where was I? So they presented it like they had a ton of people who partook in the buyback program, and it turns out only 51,000 out of roughly 1 million partook. So I'll throw up that video because we can watch it. Point is no one's partaking in it, and this is common amongst gun owners who own the guns that are on the list. And I'll find the list. Just so you can see the list. Oh, here we go. There we go. So these are the guns that are now on the list in their apparent value. Now, what I'm being told is that a lot of these guns are actually valued at much higher than the government's offering, which is probably one of the reasons why a lot of people aren't partaking in the program. I think there was someone who said that he had a gun that was worth several $1,000s and he was offered $2. I don't know if that's true. That's just anecdotal. Point is not very many people are partaking in the program. But they had a scrum yesterday regarding this, and I will show it. Just give me a second. March 23rd. Here we go. We'll just watch the first few minutes of this.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm here with Secretary Natalie Provost. I just wanted to give an update on the firearms compensation program. As you're aware, the program has been rolled out over the last several weeks. We are down to the last 7 days as of March 31st. The time for those who enroll who have prohibited firearms comes to an end. Right now we have over 26,000 Canadians who have voluntarily enrolled, declaring over 51,000 firearms. We are just reminding Canadians to those with prohibited firearms to enroll and to take part in the program. This is a voluntary program. However, compliance under the Act will not be voluntary as of October the 31st when the current order in council is set to expire. So with that, I want to just thank everyone who has already taken their civic duty seriously and enrolled in the program, and we look forward to others doing the same. This is a critical part of the work that our government is doing, in addition to the number of legislation that's before the House to ensure the safety and security of Canadians, and we believe that removing these prohibited firearms is one additional step in that measure. So with that, I'd like to thank my colleague, Secretary Provost, and I'll ask her to offer some remarks.
May I, and will you be able to ask questions after? Vous le savez, hein, la violence par arme à feu est un sujet qui me touche profondément, personnellement. Et je suis très, très fière d'être associée à ce gouvernement qui prend des actions pour retirer de nos rues des armes de style d'assaut. Mais ce pourquoi je tenais à prendre la parole aujourd'hui avec mon collègue, on est extrêmement reconnaissant à tous les, j'ai le gun owner en tête, à tous les propriétaires d'armes qui se sont enregistrés pour le programme de compensation. 51 000 armes, c'est une excellente nouvelle. Mais ce qu'on sait, c'est qu'il y a énormément de désinformation. En ce moment, les municipalités au Québec reçoivent de la désinformation qui disent qu'on veut aller contre des armes de chasse et qui se retiennent et qui retirent et qui disent même qu'on ne devrait pas appuyer ce programme-là. À chaque jour où cette information-là fausse circule, vous empêchez d'honnêtes citoyens de récupérer des sommes qui leur sont dues. Ils ont encore 8 jours pour s'inscrire, jusqu'au 31 mars pour s'inscrire et pour qu'ils puissent récupérer l'argent qu'ils ont investi dans des armes qui, après le 1er mars, seront des armes prohibées, des armes interdites et donc qu'ils ne pourront plus jamais utiliser et qu'ils ne devraient pas posséder. Donc, en français, c'est très clair, arrêtons la désinformation. Ce programme-là ne s'adresse pas aux armes de chasse, s'adresse aux armes de style d'assaut et c'est celle-là et seulement celle-là. Je vais y aller en anglais aujourd'hui, ce n'est pas mon aisance, mais je tiens vraiment à dire The gun lobby and the conservatives want you to believe that no one supports the assault-style firearm compensation program. Pierre Poilievre claims that we are, and I quote, confiscating hunting rifles and pop-can guns that are used on farm, that we are banning farmers from dealing with gophers. In that compensation program, there is the Ruger Mini 14, which was used against me in Polytechnique. There's the firearm that was used at the mosque. There were some firearms that were used at Port Tapic. I don't feel I am a duck or a gopher or a pup can. So please, please help us stop that disinformation. Canadians deserve to register and to get their money back. They are honest assault style. They bought their firearms honestly.
All right, I'm back.
With goodwill.
Well, I'll turn that off. Okay. Anyone still there, or did everyone leave from the video? So, as you can see, people were not partaking in the gun buyback program. It has not been a success. Like I said, they discussed this in Parliament yesterday, and there was over 1 million estimated guns that have not been brought in. So, and as I said, there are several police forces across the country that have refused to partake in this program, including RCMP in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. I'm not sure if BC partook. OPP will not be partaking. Several regional police forces will not be partaking, especially in Ontario. There's a large number. Yeah, I'll know in 30 seconds. There's a large number of police forces in Ontario that are not partaking. There's some that are. For instance, Winnipeg Police Force or Winnipeg Police Services is partaking, unfortunately. But a lot aren't. There was a gun that... So there's... And this is an estimate that they provided. There's an estimated 1 million firearms that were previously legal that are now considered prohibited. So if you look at this list that I have on the screen here, this includes all these guns. She did mention one, the Ruger Mini 14. That was a gun that apparently someone... I know, I'm shocked too about that. But police forces tend not to... they tend not to agree with gun restrictions because... as they will note over and over and over again, restricting legal firearm orders doesn't really affect crime rate. Camp Juno, 1 second. So you say I would like a rapidement fire summary, which would then be followed by a Q&A and discussion. Is that like a format request? Because I could do that in the future. I could try and make that happen. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for here. But like I said, very all over the place today because it's my first one, and I was kind of just wanted to get out and try this. Anyways, yeah, so police forces and police officers in general tend to believe that legal firearm owners are not the problem when it comes to gun crime, and the stats typically back that up. She mentioned the Ruger Mini 14, which is now, I'll bring that up. Just 1 second. This was a gun that has been prohibited that is now illegal. Looks pretty scary, I'm sure. But this is a semi-automatic, I believe it's a 223 or 556, typical of the sort, and I might regret doing this because there's probably a lot of gun owners that are going to be pissed at me for showing this. This is an SKS. This is currently legal. There is literally no difference between these two guns in terms of how they function. They're basically the same gun. This is legal in Canada. This is illegal. When it comes to the gun buyback program, a lot of it has to do with this gun looks scary. How it functions, what its purpose is, doesn't matter. We can go through this entire list. It would be very hard to go through this entire list because, as you can see, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of guns that are now on this list. And the people who are responsible for them, maybe in another video I will find the link for it, but the person who is in charge of this program has admitted that he has no idea what these guns' purposes are for. He doesn't know anything about guns. He couldn't tell you how guns are built. He couldn't tell you what a firing pin is. He doesn't know anything about guns. It's just gun looks scary. Gun is now prohibited. But yeah, it's been an abject failure, and there was a lot of back and forth on that in Parliament over the last couple of days because this is a hot topic. And like I said, today there was another video in a media scrum where they basically said that police forces will be forced to partake in this program, and that they will be going into people's houses with warrants, and people will be charged. They'll be fined. They could face prison time if they're found to have these prohibited guns. This is a heavy debate in Parliament right now. There's a lot of back and forth on this. Maybe another day we can go into the stats behind gun crime in Canada in terms of, I don't know if I'm in focus or not, but there we go. We can go on the stats on gun crime, what percentage of guns are actually from legal weapons, what percentage of guns are from weapons that are on the prohibited list. Vast majority of guns, as far as I understand, are illegally obtained through the black market, and they tend to be pistols that are involved in gun crime, not rifles. So, and that's true in the U.S. as well. The vast majority of gun crime in the U.S. is from pistols, not rifles. Common misconception. I already explained that. So these police forces, they tend. Thank you, Cynthia, for the question or the statement. Is it going to the Supreme Court, Dad? I might touch on that tomorrow because we've been running pretty long, and I feel like I got a lot of stuff out. But just to answer Cynthia real quick, you're curious if there's been any statements as to why certain locations don't want to participate. Yeah, there's been tons, and they all basically say the same thing. And they've been saying this for years because this has been a topic for basically since 2015 because Trudeau, this is one of the things that he ran on. And I remember back in the day, the police chief of Winnipeg specifically said that gun crime and legal gun owners are not correlated. There's... Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look into that, Dad. Anyways, around 99% of the gun crime in Canada is from illegal black market guns, not legal gun owners. We can look into mass shootings that have occurred in Canada, touch on those and stuff like that. You know what, Dad? I'll look into it for you. The Supreme Court. I think I did see something on that now that you mention it. On gun crime. Do you wanna tell me what your source was? Like where you saw that? I did see something about how the Supreme Court would be talking about it. Yeah. I don't want to take too much time to look into it right now. But that'll be a topic for tomorrow. I'll write that down as a topic for tomorrow. But Cynthia, that is a good idea. On the site, it'll be a very basic site. It'll have links on it, and then I think that's a good idea, having questions posted and then the answers and the sources to those answers as well. That way it's not coming from me, it's coming from the source. That's a great idea. So thank you for that. Likes in the chat for Cynthia. One's in the chat for Cynthia. Yeah, that does sound familiar, actually. CTV News. Well, let's go to CTV News. Where are we at? Denies Premier's request to change how judges are appointed. That's something completely different. National Student Program fell short. We were just talking about that, funnily enough. Phoenix backlog. See, look at that stuff. We're touching on the news here, ladies and gentlemen. We're covering it all. Did raise human rights? Let's see. Oh, well, are you sure that was about the... Who's Canadian Politics Daily fan? That's gotta be Kat. Is that you? Oh, well, thanks for joining. I have no idea who you are, but thanks for joining. Because sometimes, rarely, common sense prevails, Cynthia. Likes in the chat for that. There was something... I completely lost train of thought. Supreme Court. There was talk about how the Conservatives are not going to be backing the parliamentary budget officer that was selected by the Liberals. There was someone who was previously held the position, and then the Liberals removed them because the Liberals were facing a lot of scrutiny. This is a Conservative perspective, by the way, so this is not fact. This is just what was said. This is what I saw. The Conservatives will not be backing or voting for the new parliamentary budget officer, and apparently it's going to the Supreme Court or something like that. I can't remember. But I'm not seeing anything about the gun buyback program going to the Supreme Court. I swear I saw something on that too, though. We will touch on that for sure tomorrow, if anyone is sticking around to watch tomorrow, because I have no idea how we're doing here. All right, I think we're going to end here for today. If there's any questions, comments, or concerns, any feedback, any advice, anything you want me to talk about tomorrow, I'll do some research before I go live. I'll probably be going live at the same time, 7 o'clock. Even the time, let me know. And if you're not going to comment in the live chat, feel free to comment in the comment section after the video has been posted. There's a lot to learn here on my end in terms of how to make this work and how to make it streamlined and entertaining for people. I want to know who that is. Do you have a first name, Canadian Politics Daily 1 fan? That's hilarious. Is that you? Oh, it's not you. Okay. Well. And any ideas for names? Because I don't know if I'm going to be sticking with this name. I might come up with a new name. This is a pretty generic name, and it turns out there's like 10,000 channels that have a very similar name, so I'm almost impossible to find if you search for me. Yeah, Dad, if you could send me the link for that. You're Canadian. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining the chat. I was only expecting to have family and friends in here, so I'm very thankful if you're not friends or family. If you are and you're just trolling me, great job. Thank you for increasing the number of people who are watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay. Well, I need a source other than Grok, though, Dad. Grok does not suffice on this channel. 7:30? 7:30 my time? Central? Or Eastern? So 6:30. Are you saying it's too late? Paul Sidley's number 1 and Cynthia's number 2. That's fantastic. We got a race here for biggest fan. I think that's what those mean. There's little crowns next to the people posting. I think it has to do with who my biggest fan is, and it seems Dad's my biggest fan right now. Cynthia, number 2. Thank you. My own fiance is not a very big fan, apparently. Just joking. Well, I guess so. I guess it suffices. Okay, well, let's take a look. What did you type in? You provide a source. All right, let's see. Oh, CBC Global posted about the Supreme Court hearing this? Oh, okay. So here, let's look at this together. Thank you for bringing this up, Dad. Yeah, I have it here on CBC. Okay, so I would like an official source. I don't like news sources like this. I want. Okay, the Canada Gazette. No, I don't see anything on it. There's no official source, so all we have is news sources. Sorry, guys. So take this with a grain of salt. Even though it's CBC, I always take news sources with a grain of salt because it's just someone writing on what's happening. So Supreme Court of Canada will hear arguments. So the case hasn't actually happened yet, but they're willing to hear it, this is interesting. On the controversial decision to outlaw certain firearms, the top bench said Thursday will hear 4 appeals together challenging the Justin Trudeau-era policy banning hundreds of makes and models, including the AR-15 and Ruger Mini-14. That was the one that the safety minister brought up. The government first moved to ban the use, sale, and importation of some 1,500. Okay, so it's 1,500 in May. They've increased it to 2,500 in May of 2020 in the wake of the Nova Scotia killing. That was complete political grandstanding, by the way, in my opinion. So just so you guys know, I'm expressing my opinion. Feel free to express yours. If it's different, I will not ridicule you. I respect your opinion. But in my opinion, that was complete political grandstanding. That was the worst shooting in modern Canadian history. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember that. There was a person who went on a multi-day rampage, and RCMP could not find the person. The person was just randomly shooting people. I don't know if it was actually random or if it was targeted, but they went all over Nova Scotia and killed people. The ban list has since grown to 2,500 varieties, with the government arguing it's in the name of public safety. Police forces tend to disagree on this, and so do most gun owners. The policy has been generally applauded by the gun control advocates, but faces backlash from many gun owners, including hunters and sport shooters, and the conservative opposition who will argue the move. I find it interesting how, they may show it later, but they haven't shown the fact that they face opposition from police forces. That's very interesting. The original 2020 ban was challenged by firearms. Let's get down to the actual their cases. Oh, so the cases were dismissed in 2023 when Justice Catherine Kane saying that we're going to touch on that. Sorry to get distracted again. We're going to touch on the Supreme Court justices and other justices that were input by Justin Trudeau, and we're going to talk about inherent bias that is not supposed to exist from judges. That'll be another day, another topic. Again, this is going to be what is considered my opinion segment. not so much just reporting the news, but I did want to have a section where I express my opinion, you guys express yours, and we have differences of opinion and stuff. So I'm going to freely express my opinion now. Earlier I was trying to refrain from expressing opinion, but now I'm allowing myself to do so. Decision 2025 of the Chief Justice. Federal Court Appeal agreed with her decision in blah, blah, blah. I'm letting you guys read along. Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised to follow through with the firearm ban. The top court's decision comes as the government is in the midst of rolling out its buyback program, what we were discussing. Gunners have pushed back against the name, saying they don't have a choice but to sell their firearms or risk prosecution, as we discussed. Owners have until the end of the month to declare their firearms before the program moves into collection phase. La Fortune, I don't know how to pronounce that. Megan, maybe you can help me with that. La Fortune said since the launch of the program, more than 47,000 firearms have been declared. The amnesty period is until this. We've already discussed all this. So yeah, it doesn't seem like much is happening. They just agreed to hear the case from 4 people who, I don't like, what is the case though? Are they saying that it's unconstitutional, which I don't think it is, because it's not in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I don't know if it's going against some sort of bill or act that exists that hasn't been covered. I'm interested, but I don't know what this is. I'll look more into this and we'll talk. Elbows off, Carney. Oh, Chippa! Welcome to the chat. Yeah, they don't work. I agree. Okay. You're a little late to the chat there, Chippa. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, I forgot to show the... Sorry, guys. This was the page. It's CBC. I had my face on the whole time. I will add this link to the website once it's up one day. I'll go through this video and add all the links and stuff. What about the certain guns on the list? Chris Curran. 6409. Chris Curran, sorry. Chris Curran, 6409. Buybacks don't work. Look at Australia. Good point. Good point. Same what? Are you saying same I don't see Chippa? Or are you referring to something I said, Cynthia? So what is it that's going to the Supreme Court? Is it the fact that they're just fighting the fact that their guns are being confiscated? Don't worry, next video I'll work on the lag so I don't have to wait so long before someone responds. Anyone there? All right, well, for now, I think we'll end on that since I'm not getting any responses anymore. And I think we've covered a lot today, considering how all over the place I've been. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for the feedback. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good, because I'd say the vast majority of them. I'm going to go through the list and take a look, but the vast majority of these guns are just variations of semi-automatic centerfire rifles, and there's no difference between any of them. I mean, if you own an SKS, then you might as well own any of these. And there's a few other centerfire semi-automatic rifles that are still legal in Canada. Now that I say that, they're probably going to make them prohibited. So this is why I didn't want to say their names online. Because like I said, the Minister of Safety has no idea about any of these guns. He's literally just, guns look scary, guns bad. So, okay. All right, everyone okay with me ending it here? If so, we'll call it a day. And we'll see you tomorrow. Please leave your last thoughts on the chat. I really am looking forward to feedback because I want to improve. I want this to be fun and entertaining and educational for everybody. As I'm learning, you're learning. We're all learning together. This is for everybody, not just for you guys. This is for me as well, because I feel like I've actually learned a lot. Okay, thank you to my number one crown, Paul Sidley. He wants me to wrap it up. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Chris Curran, Megan, Ethan, anyone else watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for partaking. And I hope you all have box for cat. Cat for cat. Oh, okay, cute. All right. All right, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. 7 o'clock or 7:30. I'll let you guys know. I'll send a update. All right. Bye now.